I'm happy that for once when I'm in Cape Town, there's no wind, rain, cold. So I'm enjoying the Cape Town weather. I've been here for the last 2 days. Thanks, Program Director. I shouldn't be standing here. Sabri should be standing here. So maybe Sabri, just come a little bit close because we haven't lost, but it's unfortunate that all these efforts, all these collaborations, working relationship that TIA enjoys in the Western Cape, we had a champion here, and Sabri has led all of that. We are here maybe taking your shining throne there, Sabri. But on behalf of TIA, thank you very much for all the efforts that you have done with our partners here. So half of the things, I might not even have a clue what they are all about, but it's because of Sabri's involvement with the team down here. To the Executive Director and the management of CCDI, I would like to thank you for allowing TIA to have an address. Our host, Mike, did say some few things. Thank you very much for giving us a nice space to have a conversation. All attendees, distinguished guests, on behalf of TIA, we are grateful to be making address today. I would like to also make a special recognition to the Honorable Minister, Alan Wind, MEC Economic Opportunities in the Western Cape Department of Economic Development and Tourism. So for a seed fund in TIA, it looks like one solid instrument, but it's got subsets. And from day to day, we try to make sure that this instrument is fit for purpose. So as we see it now, we have a seed fund as a funding instrument and as a program. And every time we debate internally, should we make it a program or we should just make it a funding instrument? And we've realized that there are programmatic orientated interventions. We don't just give money, but our participation into the seed fund is critical. As we have it now, we have two distinct instruments within the seed fund. The first one is the one that we have partnered with higher education institutions to assist their own researchers, innovators, spin-off companies in overcoming their challenges in accessing the next round of funding to achieve the progression of their knowledge into commercial attractiveness. And then the second one is the one that we work to enable particularly small, medium enterprises, which we are now partnering with incubators, innovation hubs, development agencies across the country. We are trying to have a fairly nationwide footprint in doing that. I'm going to probably do that. I hope it's fine. Seed Fund is now in its fourth year of operation and is currently having a portfolio of 104 projects that are dedicated to the seed fund that responds to small, medium enterprises. And in the second portion of the seed fund, we have another 324 projects that now works directly with higher education institutions. We have now additional 7 that has been witnessed today, so the number is growing. We have just spent over 37 million rands for one that is directed to SMMEs. The one that is directed to higher education institution is 142. You can see that there's not a fair balance. We want to change that. So partnerships such as this one are very critical for TIA. Having spent over 180 million rands on this program, the programmary objective of this funding is to assist to advance research outputs, ideas, developing prototypes, proving the concepts, because it's the most difficult thing for any innovator and entrepreneur. Make sure that the business case is fairly viable and that could be used to attract a further development fund. The de-risking of these ideas, we want to enable entrepreneurs, researchers, make sure that their opportunities are well informed and they bring them closer in securing the next round of funding from TIA and other funders. So we are not just giving you the seed fund and say you sort yourself out. We want to make sure that you're also attractive to come back to TIA for the next round of funding. As we continue to modernize the technology development infrastructure for exploring ideas, knowledge, technologies, we want to make sure that all this contributes to service delivery, social and economic benefit. We want to make sure that all these needs of society also guides TIA in how they could effectively implement these interventions on behalf of the Department of Science and Technology. The mandate to implement these innovative interventions is ideally to make sure that ideas don't remain ideas, but they become commercial viable products. Because TIA is characterized by its own nature of being in a very high risk, therefore we require to be very tactical in how we do this. So seed fund has been declared as one of those kind of well attractive products that can at least be put into the market to translate and close these fundamental gaps that entrepreneurs face from day to day. However, TIA cannot do it alone. We've recently adopted the concept of converting TIA, not just as a technology innovation agency, but we've termed it T for the team in the NSI. We cannot do it alone. We rely mostly on what the National System of Innovation does. So we are a team with the entire National System of Innovation. The I for us now is we need to make sure that we are impactful. There's no point of doing all this, putting money, but we cannot be able to see and experience the impact. All this needs accountability, so that's where the A comes in. It's not just putting the money in there, it's making sure that we see that the money is used appropriately. I'm grateful about the intelligence, the thought, insight that we've received from our partners. You mentioned the University of the Western Cape, Productivity SA, just to mention a few. That shows that there's accountability in how we conduct our due diligence. So I would like to also appreciate that. The Cape Craft Design Institute is therefore well aligned to the TIA mandate to support the need of innovative business and to grow the region expertise in design sector. As I'm going to use the word charitable organization, because when you say non-profit, then it sounds like we don't care about the numbers, but we do. But as a charitable organization, CCDI ability to create an enabling environment in a joint collaboration manner with government, higher education institution, has therefore made it easy for TIA to partner. We didn't have to think twice about it because the resources are getting scarce. The tax coffers is not increasing. Actually, it's becoming strainful to get money from the tax. So when we get partners that want to collaborate, want to do things in partnership, Sabri just demonstrated how you've also using other incubators such as Savant to be part of the network. It makes it much more easy when we try to share the resources amongst ourselves. So we've partnered, now we have identified deserving enterprises. We've seen some of the brilliant technologies and ideas that are here. Now, for us, we're looking forward to make sure that these technologies, the funding being put forward, can now address the challenges in the ecosystem. For us, is going back again to the drawing board to see what were the best lessons learned leading to this process, and also continue to improve our instruments. One of the few instruments that we are currently exploring, we might term it a rapid fund, so that when you just about to turn the corner, you pick up another problem, you don't need to start a bigger application process. So you can come to TIA, we have a conversation, and in 24 hours, we can be able to make a decision whether we put the next million to make sure that we just close those small gaps, because we've realized that in the innovation value chain, the gap, the innovation chasm shifts as we develop new ideas. You face new challenges. So we are also exploring what we term as a rapid fund. I hope we'll probably be able to implement rather quicker than later, for a mere purpose of making sure that this seed fund does not become fruitless because the chasm has shifted a little bit. But with the seed fund, I think at the moment is up to a maximum of 650,000. Sabri must correct me, because previously I knew it was around 500. But as I said, we tailoring our instrument. We have put this seed fund instrument to make sure that it covers, but not limited to the things that I'll mention: bridging finance, new technology development, design development, final market development, market testing of the prototype, pilot manufacturing, and to make sure that ultimately all these things we can measure, because we can't put money. So we'll set some of these expectations as milestones, and we measure accordingly. But for us, the expectation becomes clear that we want to make sure that this fund also enables the entrepreneur to leverage, make sure that the entrepreneur can have an uptake to the market. Most importantly, downstream jobs. You start as a one-man show, but ultimately you want to see how you create these enterprises to create downstream jobs, even if ever they're not within the company, but on the surface of what we are doing, whether it could be logistics, supply, administration, and so forth. Those jobs for us, they count. So through this initiative, we've now hope we will continue to promote the culture of innovation in the local economic development in the province as a whole. We have signed this agreement in 2013-14. I think that's when it was solidified. The numbers show that we have already spent around 17 million rands with CDI. We've already made few trenches in March 2014. We'll continue to make further trenches this year accordingly, but we want to make sure that these figures become substantially acknowledged as we continue to have a conversation in becoming a long-term partner with CCDI. I'm aware that the call for the recent applicants happened last year around October. Although you see 7 guys presenting here, I understand that you had to sit around 57 applications that had to be reviewed. You had to formulate well-constituted steering committees. 21 were shortlisted. And my message also needs to be translated to the 21 that were shortlisted to say you have not lost out. Don't lose interest in your business idea. Have pride in them. When the Wright brothers, they were telling everyone they're going to fly, people thought they were crazy. Today, flight is common practice. So even those crazy ideas, because I don't believe in them, it doesn't mean they are not possible. So I want to send a message to them to say, believe in those ideas. We acknowledge the due diligences of did express that element, but for the 7 winners, my message, just a small quote from Gandhi. It says that there's enough to feed every man's need, but not enough to feed every man's greed. Take that as a message. You're gonna have to give up a little bit. Greed might leave you probably alone, but if you respond to the needs of the business, you are better off. You need to find ways of sharing, which is more important, both your knowledge and insights, because through collective teamwork and so on, you can achieve more. We've seen that in very various examples where people allowed more smarter people to come into their business. You can name a few: Google, They haven't closed the doors. If you've got a brilliant ideas, you come. They want to work with you. So also look at your business like that. Without repeating the presentations, I've seen that there will be a clear contributions into the National Development Plan in making sure that the decent standard of living for all South Africans will be responded to, because we have come up with ideas and technologies that respond to the food safety side, looking at the agro-processing technologies that you have brought up. I was telling Sabri that my favorite is the one that's going to contribute to the winery industry. I wouldn't mind to buy cheaper, so this contributes ideally. The element of precision farming, our agricultural sector is expected to contribute more onto the GDP, so we're looking forward for these technologies to materialize. I can't mention health, both on the prevention side, wellness, nutrition element, testing, clinical diagnostic method that have been demonstrated here. I have no doubt that the strategy you have chosen to prioritize this one was the brilliant strategy, because it aligns very well on the national government priorities. Before I give my congratulations to the team, we have the next funding instrument available in TIA. We have Technology Development Fund. Please start having a conversation now so that you understand what will be the prerequisite for you to access that Technology Development Fund. We have the Pre-Commercialization Fund in TIA. Start having those conversations now. Don't wait when your prototype is developed, because you might be required it to be altered to make sure that it meets the criteria. So start now having those conversations. Share your technology so that we can have a pipeline view of what is coming up. We reserve funds for you. International VCs are very difficult to bring on board, as we all know. Complementary intellectual property, your ideas might need a little bit more IP to make them well competitive. So that is also difficult to get locally, because not all of us like to give away our patents and intellectual property. Most of all, export opportunities are also difficult to attract locally. I think there's one of you within the DTI. So we have a unit in TIA, Innovation Skills Development Unit. This is the unit that you need to keep abreast on your development so that they can make these opportunities available, because we've got a good network of international partners. We've got a complementary patents within the various universities and even international that are lying dormant and not being used or commercialized. Some of them could be critical to make your ideas a little bit better and stronger. So look out for those. We continue to provide various exposure to international platforms, such as the UK Newton Fund, one of our interventions that could give you exposure just to present your ideas into the international market. For those products that are related to medical devices, we have realized that it's a critical need in the country, and there's already a bigger cluster formulations that we are driving as TIA. We'll be putting up a medical device cluster. So please make sure that you also participate in that bigger cluster formulation, because all those opportunities can easily be explored as a collective. Now, on behalf of TIA, I'd like to congratulate all the winners that have been selected. We wish you all the best in your future adventures. I thank you.